fact, Archie was a year old. Like, look at Meghan at the Albert Hall. How many weeks pregnant was she supposed to be? Was it about 8 weeks?
She's been a social climber from the beginning. She married somebody the first time to socially climb. And for her, Harry was just an entry ticket into all of those circles. Unfortunately, she found someone. She's not very intelligent. She's not very talented. Nobody in America was watching Suits.
Look at it. Whoever heard of a baby bump being so variable? And not to mention swinging from side to side. Oh, let's do the cha-cha, or shall we do chubby checker?
Hold up. We've got a full-on royal scandal alert. You are not ready for this. What Meghan Markle told the world about Archie's birth? Yeah, it might not be adding up. And guess who's calling her out? None other than Candace Owens, and she's not holding anything back. The inconsistencies are wild, and now even medical experts and palace insiders are literally shaking their heads like, wait, what did she just say?
Now, these rumors started way back when they got pregnant with Archie. So today we're going to take a look back at Archie's birth controversy.
I mean, come on. Harry and Meghan Markle have always been headline magnets, right? But this time, this story feels different. This isn't some whisper in a tabloid or an internet rumor floating around on Reddit. Oh, no. This one has people actually clutching their pearls.
That shrewd, and unfortunately right now, that sort of politicking is not finding a home in America. We don't want
those surrogacy rumors that have been circling for ages. They're now front and center, and honestly, they sound absolutely shocking. People are starting to question one of the most celebrated royal births in modern history. And you know what? It's getting harder and harder to look away.
Extraordinary performance that Meghan treated the world to.
Just when we all thought the Meghan and Harry saga had cooled down, boom, Candace Owens drops a total bombshell. She questions Meghan's entire pregnancy story. And in seconds, the clip goes viral, like wildfire. The reaction? Total chaos. Twitter exploded, TikTok was flooded, and people were fighting in comment sections like their lives depended on it. Fans defended Meghan, critics doubled down, and even people who never cared about royal gossip before were suddenly hooked. This wasn't some random rumor. It was a direct challenge to the official royal narrative.
I actually don't believe that there are any political ambitions there, mostly because she's simply not well liked.
And trust me, Owens did not pull her punches. She came prepared with receipts, highlighting contradictions in Meghan's story that at first sound small, but when you look closely, make you go, wait, what? 2 epidurals during labor, a same-day discharge from Portland Hospital. Each claim made people's eyebrows hit the ceiling.
Who was a journalist at Birkenhead who saw what was going on, and I discounted it. I thought, oh.
Then add in the conflicting explanations for why the press wasn't informed right away. And suddenly the whole polished picture that Harry and Meghan painted starts to crack. Owens' delivery? Sharp, confident, totally unapologetic. She said what everyone was too scared to say.
Was pretending she was going to stay in the royal family. I was the first commentator that said, this woman is going to make it back to Los Angeles. I just saw her coming. So she's not that shrewd. And unfortunately, right now, that sort of politicking.
What's even crazier is how fast that clip spread. Within hours, it was everywhere. News outlets, blogs, social media accounts dissecting every single word Candace said. People couldn't stop watching and speculating. Could Meghan's story really have holes in it? Were we all celebrating a royal fairy tale that maybe wasn't quite what it seemed?
I slightly discounted the whole thing as crazy internet and journalist rubbish.
And for Harry and Meghan, oh boy, this is not some minor PR hiccup. For years, the public accepted their version of events like gospel truth. But now, Owens' commentary dragged that story into a harsh, unflattering spotlight. Suddenly, everyone, fans and critics alike, started connecting dots that had always been there, but no one dared to look at too closely. Could this be the moment when the cracks in their fairy tale image become impossible to ignore?
To opine about racism and sexism and misogyny. We want people that are being honest about the fact that we have a lot of issues in this country and we're not going to beat them by hating one another. And so she's not a perfect fit. Like I said, she caught a moment and there was very much a government incentive to cause so much division with BLM, but she's not going to run in politics. She's very happy where she is in a multi-million-dollar mansion lunching with Oprah. That was her dream and she got it.
No, you may be right. I mean, I must admit, I'd always thought there was a political ambition, but maybe you're right. And yet, when it comes to whichever company they work with, Netflix, whoever it is, they've been paid all these large sums of money to produce little content or a load of rubbish. At what point At what point does Los Angeles wake up and say, you know what, these guys are no good?
I think that's starting to happen now. I mean, the executive over at Spotify pretty much said that these are a bunch of lazy people with bad ideas.
Then the medical experts entered the chat, and things got even messier. Obstetricians and maternity nurses started analyzing Harry's claims, and let's just say they weren't buying it. Multiple epidurals, a same-day discharge, these are not normal occurrences. In fact, they're rare, and that's why Candace's points hit so hard. The deeper people dug, the more the inconsistencies screamed for attention. And let's not forget the royal angle, because when you bring Buckingham Palace into the mix, oh, it gets juicy. For decades, the palace has been a master of controlling the story, keeping the image pristine, making sure everything looks perfect on the surface. But Owens' viral clip, it cut straight through all that polished PR armor. For once, an outsider, a loud, fearless, no-nonsense voice, took control of the narrative. The monarchy couldn't stop it, and suddenly journalists, fans, even insiders were forced to pay attention. And you want to know the juiciest part? The 2 epidural claim. Yep. Candace Owens brought that up, and it sent everyone spiraling. The idea that Meghan supposedly had 2 epidurals during labor had both doctors and fans whispering, wait, is that even possible? On paper, it sounds dramatic. A duchess enduring extreme pain, doubling down on medication, a picture of strength and resilience. But scratch beneath the surface, and things start looking really questionable. Because let's be real, an epidural isn't like popping a Tylenol. It's an intricate medical procedure. We're talking about inserting a catheter near the spinal cord to deliver continuous pain relief. Switching that out mid-labor? That's not just unusual. It's almost unheard of. Doctors have come forward saying, nope, this isn't something that would just happen twice in one delivery unless there's a very serious reason. So, the big question, why did Harry even include that in his memoir? Some people say it was just a bit of creative storytelling, a way to make Meghan look like a superhero mom. Others think maybe he misremembered the details or exaggerated for dramatic effect. Either way, this little tidbit has become the centerpiece of the controversy Candace Owens sparked. And honestly, this isn't just some tiny medical nitpick, it's a credibility issue. If one part of the story doesn't line up, what else might be off? Owens basically said, if these details crumble under scrutiny, maybe the whole story deserves a second look. And she's right. A royal birth is supposed to be public and ceremonial. Even when privacy is claimed, there's always a sense of transparency. But this birth, it seems stuck in this weird gray area, half spectacle, half secrecy, and you can't ignore the timing. Harry's memoir was a global phenomenon. Millions of people read it. And what better way to make waves than by including such a dramatic movie-like detail? Sure, it got attention, but it also invited heavy criticism. Owens just took that moment and turned it into the headline-grabbing controversy of the year. According to Harry, Meghan gave birth at Portland Hospital, endured all those intense labor procedures, and then, get this, was home with baby Archie just hours later. Hours. Anyone who's ever given birth or even read a pregnancy guide knows that timeline sounds, well, impossible. Normally, new mothers stay in the hospital for at least 24 hours after giving birth. Nurses monitor vitals, check for bleeding, make sure the mom and baby are safe and stable. And Meghan herself has said she had complications like preeclampsia, which, if true, would mean an even longer stay. Leaving within hours? That's not just unusual, it's medically questionable. The contradiction sent journalists scrambling. Some were told Archie had already been born hours before the official announcement, while others thought Meghan was still in labor. It was confusion galore, and in the royal world, where every second is usually choreographed, that kind of chaos just doesn't happen. So people started asking the obvious. Was this chaos deliberate? Was it a calculated move to control the story? To present Meghan as a strong mom balancing privacy and power? Or was it just messy miscommunication gone viral? Candace Owens wasn't afraid to ask that out loud. She basically said, if the explanations keep changing, how are we supposed to believe any of them? Social media did what it always does, it erupted. Threads comparing timelines, screenshots of interviews, side-by-side quotes. People were investigating like full-on detectives. Fans were like, if reporters can't even get a straight story, how can we? Even royal commentators were thrown off. Reporters who had covered births from Princess Diana to Kate Middleton admitted they'd never seen anything so secretive, so offbeat. Some called it modern, others called it manipulative. Either way, it was unprecedented, and that's the heart of it. This wasn't just about a birth, it was about credibility. A royal baby's arrival is symbolic. The way it's presented sets the tone for how the world sees the family for decades. By creating this fog of mystery, whether on purpose or not, Meghan and Harry invited a storm of scrutiny they could never fully escape. Was it truly about privacy or about controlling the narrative? Critics think it might be both, and that combo? A PR nightmare. Then came the ethical questions, the kind that hit deeper than gossip, because Meghan has publicly positioned herself as a women's health advocate. She's spoken out about maternal care, about the importance of monitoring during childbirth. So when the details in her own story start sounding implausible, it shakes that credibility. Doctors broke it down bluntly. 2 epidurals? Extremely rare. A same-day discharge, especially with a mention of preeclampsia? Practically impossible. They called it reckless, even dangerous, to frame it as standard. Women online reacted fiercely. Many who've experienced childbirth themselves said, "No way, this isn't how it works." The disbelief turned into frustration into anger, and before long, the public conversation wasn't about royal baby photos anymore. It was about truth. Remember how Harry painted Meghan like a superhero mom conquering impossible odds? Well, critics now say that very image, strong, glowing, miraculous, might actually be the problem. Because if parts of the story are exaggerated for effect, it cheapens the real struggles women face during labor. Owens pounced on that irony, pointing out how Meghan's carefully crafted narrative of strength might have crossed into pure performance. And let's not forget, the royal PR machine hates unpredictability. Buckingham Palace has spent decades perfecting their illusion of composure. So when someone like Owens calls out those inconsistencies on camera and millions of people listen, it's like throwing a spark into dry grass. Suddenly, the monarchy's control over its image doesn't seem so ironclad anymore. Every contradiction, every revised explanation, every oops on a legal document, it all starts to pile up, turning what should have been a fairy tale birth into a swirling storm of wait, what actually happened? Fans who once swooned over baby Archie's arrival are now revisiting the photos, the interviews, the press statements, searching for signs they might have missed. And the more they dig, the more unsettling it feels. Owens' commentary didn't just rehash gossip. It reignited every old rumor, the surrogacy whispers, the inconsistencies, the secrecy. For years, those stories had simmered quietly on forums and blind item blogs, dismissed as nonsense. But now, people are suddenly wondering if those crazies, as some called them, were onto something all along. Of course, Owens stopped short of making direct accusations. She's careful with her wording. But the implication hung heavy in the air. Something isn't right here. And whether it's about the birth itself or the way it was presented, that suspicion is now out in the open. Supporters rushed to Meghan's defense, arguing that she deserves privacy, that she had every right to control her own story after the relentless press bullying she endured. And honestly, that's fair. But critics clapped back, saying, you can't demand privacy and publish a tell-all memoir with questionable details. It's that double standard that has people so divided. Every new explanation just seems to deepen the mystery rather than clear it up. At this point, the Meghan-Harry-Archie narrative has become less of a feel-good royal milestone and more of a cinematic saga full of plot twists, dramatic revelations, and unanswered questions. Even the smallest details, like when exactly the Queen was informed or why the hospital discharge was timed the way it was, have become battlegrounds for debate. What once looked like a story of triumph and modern motherhood now feels like a PR performance under a microscope. Medical professionals say they just want clarity. Fans say they want honesty. And gossip lovers, oh, they're living for the drama, because as messy as it all is, one thing's clear. Meghan Markle's birth story, once the stuff of royal celebration, has turned into one of the biggest mysteries the monarchy's ever seen. And now, here we are, the royal fairy tale unraveling in real time. The public's trust, once unshakable, is hanging by a thread. Every photo, every word, every miracle detail is being re-examined under the harshest spotlight. Candace Owens didn't just start a conversation, she cracked open the royal veneer, exposing how easily perfection can crumble. Whether Meghan's story is misunderstood or misrepresented, one thing's undeniable: the world isn't buying blind anymore. The fairy tale glow has dimmed, replaced by doubt. And this scandal? Oh, it's far from over. The reckoning has only just begun.